الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلي وسلم على نبينا Muhammad وعلى أهله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Alleviating grievances in describing the condition of the stranger by Al-Hafid ibn Rajab Al Hanbali, died 795 after Hijrah, translated by Ismail Alakom. كشف الكربة في وصف حال أهل الغربة. The strangeness of the believer during the last days. At-Tabarani, another transmitted with a chain of narration that has some speculation into it, from a hadith of Abu Umama radiallahu anhu, that the Prophet ﷺ said, vary for every matter there is a progression and a regression, and vary from the progression of this religion is what you used to be upon from blindness and ignorance, and what Allah sent me with, and verily from the progression of this religion is that the clan was taught Islam by its family members, to the point that there was not found amongst them the tribes anyone except for one evildoer or two evildoers. So these two were oppressed and degraded. When they wanted to speak, they are restrained, subdued, and persecuted. And very from the regression of this religion is that the tribes act harshly against its family members, to the point that there is not seen amongst them anyone except one faqih, one with understanding, or two faqihs. Thus they will be both oppressed and degraded. If they speak and command the good and forbid the evil, they are restrained, subdued, and persecuted, and they will not find any supporters or helpers in that matter. Thus the believer who is knowledgeable of the Sunnah and who possesses understanding of the religion is describing this hadith as being one who during the last days, at the point of its corruption, will be oppressed, will be base, and not be able to find any helpers or supporters. At-Tabarani is also reported with a weak chain of narration on the authority of Ibn Masud radiallahu anhu, that the Prophet ﷺ said, and valid from its sign, that is the hawa, is that the believer will be in the sight of his tribe more low in status than the young sheep. And it is recorded in the Muslim of Imam Ahmad that Ubadah bin Samit radiallahu anhu said to one of his companions, it is eminent that one should your life be prolonged for you, you will see a man who will recite the Quran upon the tongue of Muhammad, repeating it and respecting it, allowing its halal and forbidding its haram. Will then be lower in status, and his position will be neglected amongst you, and considered just as the position of a dead donkey. And similar to this is the saying of Ibn Masud radiallahu anhu, there will come upon the people a time in which the believer will become lower than the bondman. Indeed, the believer will only be the best in the last days, due to his strangers in front of the evildoers from among the people of doubts and desires. Every one of them will hate him and abuse him because of his opposing of their way by following his way, and because of the seeking of his goal over their goal, and because of his evidence of what is with them. And when Dawood Attai died, Ibn Samak said, indeed Dawood looked with his heart at what was in front of him, and the sight of his heart overtook the sight of his eyes, so it was as if he no longer saw what you were looking at, and as if you could not see what he was looking at, and you were amazed at him, and he was amazed at you. It became strange to you that he was alive in the middle of death. And from among them was he whose own family and children will hate him due to the loathing of this condition. Umar ibn Aziz once heard his wife say, may Allah relieve us from you. So he said, Amin. Our Salaf predecessors during their lifetimes will mainly describe the believer with the strangeness as presented in the narrations. And from the words of Ahmad ibn al-Asim al-Kandali, was one of the biggest scholars at the time of Sulaiman ad-Darani, was, indeed, I have reached from all the times a time when Islam has returned to being strange as it began. In it, the description of the truth has returned to being strange as it began. If you are to turn to the scholar, you will find him being tested with the love of this worldly life and the love for honor and authority. And if you are to turn to the worshipper, you will find him ignorant in his worship, deceived, and fallen victim to his enemy, to Iblis. He has mounted to the highest level of worship while being ignorant to how to perform them. So how can he be at that level? And the rest of the people are from among the ignorant followers, simple-minded and quick to fall away, as if he were a wolf looking to steal a sheep, or a hungry lion, or a fox on the prowl. This is the description of the people of your time, from the carriers of knowledge and the Quran and the callers of Islam. This was the description of the people of his time. So how much has the situation increased, and the crisis become greater after it? Indeed, it has reached a point that will have never been thought or nor imagined.